A few months ago, I didn't even know what a cake pop was. Then, I met Linja. Together, we made the biggest cake pop in the entire world.
Or so we thought.
You see, our first video got millions and millions of views and somehow even attracted the attention of the Guinness World Records team, who said that there was a record title but no record holder for world's largest cake pop.
Meaning that nobody has officially attempted or claimed the title of the world's largest cake pop.
So it turned out that while in reality we may have made the largest ever cake pop, it wasn't actually official. We followed up and found out that the actual record cake pop had to be a minimum of 30 kilograms, which is a bit less than 69 pounds. Not exactly sure who came up with that number, but I like it.
Dom, you dirty dog! After our first video, so many people asked us to collab again that we figured, why not? Let's run it back and get a world record at the same time.
But before we begin, not all of you listened when Linja told you to like the video last time.
So smack that like button now. The rules are strict and intense. We'll lay out the most important ones in simple terms.
Rule number 1, this record is for the largest cake pop in terms of weight.
Rule 2, this is measured to the nearest thousandth kilogram.
Rule number 3, for the purpose of this record, a cake pop is defined as a round coated piece of cake on a lollipop stick.
Rule 4, ingredients must include eggs, sugar, flour, butter, chocolate or icing, and an edible decoration.
And most important, rule number 5, have fun. But before we begin, let's take a trip to Starbucks to check out the gold standard for a cake pop. All right, we are just a few minutes away from the nearest Starbucks. I feel like Starbucks is the place that brought cake pops into this world. We have to go get one of theirs to be able to measure it and perfectly replicate a massive version of it. Linja, you ready?
Yeah, this is my first Starbucks cake pop.
I see it. I see the cake pop.
Yeah.
Well, he's famous too.
I don't know him.
We got our cake pops.
That sign at the entrance is the closest there. We're gonna get to a world record cake pop.
I'm a little disappointed in the size. It's puny, tiny, insignificant, unimpressive.
Why are you pointing the camera at me, Manny? We are back from Starbucks and we got our cake pops. How is it?
Okay.
It's okay, but we could do better. But before we get started, we have a little bit of measuring and weighing to do.
Guinness World Records doesn't around. Now preheat the oven till 350 Fahrenheit because it's time to get baking.
We're gonna start with 1 Linja length worth of cakes. But before we get started, the health inspector made clear that we had to be wearing something as a head covering since we'll be serving this cake. So I'm gonna use this bowl.
What are you doing, Nick?
To start, we're gonna add all our cake mix to this giant bucket.
Then we go in with our liquid eggs.
Since we have a health inspector on site, we're using special eggs here that are a little bit easier to follow food safety requirements with.
Then we'll toss in a few sticks of butter.
And last but not least, a little water.
Now it's time to mix it all up.
Okay.
Now it's time to start pouring in the cake batter. Spread it all out. We want these cakes to be nice and even.
Now we're gonna bake this for about 10 to 12 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Once we've baked off our full Linja stack of cakes, we're finally ready to start crumbling it up.
And make that cake pop batter. Now it's time to crumble all that cake up. We want it as fine as possible before we mix it with our frosting.
Step aside, Linja.
Now it's time to make our cream cheese frosting.
First, we'll go into our mixer with a bunch of cream cheese.
A few bags of confectioner sugar. And a splash of Nick's homemade vanilla extract.
And now we mix. We had to get creative and heat the side of the bowl so the cream cheese melted faster.
Now finally, we scoop in all our frosting, and then we mix again.
And after quite a lot of mixing, we're ready to put our cake pop mix into the mold. This right here is our giant custom cake pop mold with a nice hole right on top for the stick to come out of. But first, we need to grease it up.
Now that our cake pop mix is finally mixed up, time to fill up the mold. And now we toss on the lid.
Now into the sides, we'll put screws to make sure that none of this moves around. Then we'll take these clamps and go all the way around the side of the cake pop to make sure everything is as tight as possible.
Now it's time to fill it up the rest of the way.
We'll press at the tippity top until it's bulging out from all that pressure. Hopefully, this means we have a tightly packed cake pop. And finally, just before the freezing process, we shove in that stick. Oh.
Now we're gonna take all our dry ice outside and add it to the big cooler. Now we have to line it with dry ice.
Linja, let's call it a night. It's been sitting overnight. Let's take this off and see how it looks on the inside. Oh my God, Linja.
Oh,
Linja, it looks like we made a bomb.
Oh my gosh, I bet the FBI is watching us. Day 2.
We added more dry ice around the cake pop this morning to make sure it was super hyper frozen. So before we bring it upstairs, it's time to take care of our royal icing. That's the frosting we're gonna wrap around the entire cake pop to toss the sprinkles onto.
4 cups of powdered sugar.
Then 3 tablespoons of meringue powder.
And 9 tablespoons of water.
Now we'll close down our mixer and let this go until a nice glue-like paste forms. Now that our frosting's done, it's time to go grab that cake pop. Now that we've made our royal icing, it's time to lift this upstairs. Oh, baby. Oh, wow.
First things first, let's take off these wedges.
And then I'll use these Parmesan cheese wedges to wedge it open.
Now I'm gonna take off the top piece.
Linja, we did it.
Oh my God.
And then it's time to take out the entire cake pop.
Whoa!
How do you feel right now?
Oh, this is awesome.
For this next step, we're putting on our royal icing, which we'll go all over the cake pop with. This stuff dries really, really hard and fast. And all we need is a nice thin layer around so we can add our sprinkles.
It's sprinkle time.
We had to buy a lot of sprinkles to make sure we could cover this thing. And given that this is probably the most fun part of the whole day, we're gonna have fun with it.
This is more important than Neil Armstrong planting the flag on the moon.
With the addition of this stick, our cake pop is complete, and now we have to weigh the entire thing at once because every last thing counts. The stick, the sprinkles, the cake pop, we need to weigh it all. And that's where Kenny comes in.
We're gonna lift this pop right onto the scale and we're gonna get an exact measurement.
0.000 kilograms.
You got that, Guinness?
All right, so it's finally time to weigh. We're gonna lift this onto this scale here.
This has to be 30 kilograms to beat the world record.
1, 2, 3.
44.240. We have a world record, folks.
We definitely have a lot of people to thank for making this happen, but our work here is not yet done.
Now we wait to hear from Guinness.
We have no idea how long it'll take them to look through all the information here.
But hopefully we got the record.
Just for reference, this giant cake pop right here is over 1,000 times heavier than this little one right here. Okay, it's been several weeks now and I finally just got an update from Guinness. Sadly, I've got bad news. So what ended up happening was we got the record. Here it is in all its glory. But I'm not gonna tell Linja yet. She currently has absolutely no idea that she is a Guinness World Record holder. Instead, I'll take you all with me tomorrow morning on a road trip to New Jersey, where we're gonna surprise Linja with this certificate. I'll see you bright and early. All right, I'm currently on the side of the highway. This is a solo mission. I don't have a camera guy with me today. I've just crossed into New Jersey and I'm getting ready to surprise Linja. And if I look tired, it's because I am. I've been driving since 5 this morning, but the surprise is gonna be worth it. It looks like I should be there in about 45 minutes. After 5.5 hours, I just made it. I'm just outside Linja's house, but I pulled up the road to hide so she wouldn't see me. And her son, Tim, is ready on the inside for me to surprise her. Let's go show her the trophy.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
Linja, look at this.
Oh my gosh, that is fantastic!
Let's get a close up on
Look
it.
at that.
We got the record!
That was definitely a crazy process, but Linja, are you glad we went through it?
It was so much fun!
I'm sorry, by the way, for surprising you today at your house. I know you don't like people showing up like that.
Oh no, it was a wonderful surprise.
Wow,
It's
you-
always good to have you. Good thing I didn't have my gun on me.
So there you have it. Linja and I are now the official holders of the world's largest cake pop.
One more time, don't forget to like this video.
And also don't forget to check out Linja's channel, which I'll toss in the description below.
And by the way, if you try to break our record, you know where I'm at.